Right now, there is a used car salesman YouTube epidemic going on. And there's so many YouTubers who just push as much fear as humanly possible and don't even believe it. I actually know people like this. And I want to call one of them out because I'm not going to say I hate the guy's guts because I don't even really know him, but he is blatantly lying to viewers every single day, like on purpose too, because he knows it's going to get clicks and that's going to drive up his ad revenue. And there's other people who build shit businesses that know their shit, like a garbage course, and then they just jam it down their viewers' throats to try and get some sales. They are literally the used car salesman of YouTube. And more and more people are like that because it's been a quick, easy buck. It's a lot cheaper than being a used car salesman. That you're actually making a bit of money. But what's absolutely crazy is people buy these guys' stuff and that it actually works. So I'm hoping that there is some sort of shakeout over the next year or two, if hopefully ad revenues down significantly and their businesses fail. And I say that because they are not providing any value to their customers. And they are blatantly lying to the people that are watching their videos. And there's actually people who do this. I don't know, most people probably won't know this, but there was this company, Agora. And what they figured out is through email marketing that they could sell a ton of fear and they could sell gold down to a ton of people's throats because they could promise that the dollar was going to collapse and that the world was going to end. And there was a significant amount of people that from this company, Agora, that just drove that narrative. And that was actually a significant reason why so many people believed that the dollar was going to die, it was going to hyperinflate, that all these things were going on wrong with the economy. And even if those were accurate representations of what was going on, they would hyperbolize the truth to such a far degree to lock into the emotion. That, because a lot of what sales is tapping into the emotional state of the consumer, and they are tapping into the fear that if they don't buy this gold stock, that if they don't sell all of their wealth and buy gold, and if they don't have the subscription model, that they are going to die literally, and that their currency is just going to get wiped out. I don't know if this is an exact statistic, but even if there is hyperinflation, you really can recover after about 3 weeks. That's when that's when the country gets back on track. Yes, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of suffering, but people prepare their entire lives for an event that may or may not happen. Think about the preppers. I mean, one of my buddies, Jason Hartman, thinks that it's an actual disease from people that they spend their entire life preparing for an event that they think will happen in the future, and so that they're ready for this quote unquote 3-week event, but they never live. I mean, at what point is sacrificing everything today worth that in the future? Whereas you can't control any of that. It is all external. So you can be prepared, but you can't control the external event if it happens or not. And so what can you focus on? It is building your own business. It is securing your financial future. Or I think that's kind of a gay thing to say, but it's true. I mean, that is a controllable. You can control how your business operates. Yes, there are external macro factors that prevent you or potentially will wipe you out, but it is still up to you, the individual, to figure that out. Whereas if you're preparing for, let's say, the dollar to hyperinflate every single day of every single minute, you can't even control if or when that happens. So you aren't controlling what can be controlled. And I'm saying this from someone who I used to save every single penny that I owned. I thought that was the way to live, that you can never spend your money. Ever. No matter how much money you make, just don't spend it. You make money just to get it, and then you hoard it. Then you sit there like Scrooge McDuck with their piles of gold just flipping around and bathing in wealth. And then I met George Gammon, who is the first guy that I started working for, who ran a bunch of businesses in the past. And he is the best guy I think I've ever met in my entire life. And when I first started going out with him, he would just pay for everything all the time. And no matter who it was, it didn't matter who would come, he would always pay. He never even looked at the check. And I was just like, wow, this is nice. Then I asked him, like, oh, do you not have a problem spending money? And then he would tell me these stories of when he was making X amount of money a month back in his business days, and he would spend 57% of it on a weekend. And I was like, well, well, does this not bother you? He's like, Josh, why do you want to make money to begin with? That's when it hits you. It's like to do whatever you want when you want to spend your money. If you want to drop $20,000 on a dinner, you can, because you have the ability to. It doesn't mean you do that all the time, but it's also, he said, if you believe in your ability to make more money, then you don't really have to worry about anything. And that's true. If you can make as much money as you want, whenever you want to, if you have that skill set and the ability and the confidence in yourself, then you can spend the money. And then I moved in with one of my buddies, Luke, and he's going to watch this video, and hopefully, at least. And he was the first person that I saw within the opposite spectrum. And he would save everything because he's a big Bitcoin nut. He wouldn't even get new socks or new underwear because they'd have these massive holes in them, and we'd wear the same 3 tank tops for the past 4 years on repeat, just nonstop. Just he would try and nickel and dime absolutely everything. And then I realized that is absolutely no way to live. So what's the solution? I know I've gone on this large tangent, but it will all tie back. So now I just focus on trying to build my skill sets to where I can make as much money as I possibly want to and need to. And I'm no longer frugal, and I haven't been for a while. I'm okay taking these astronomical risks. I'm not just spending dumb money, because that really doesn't entertain me too much. I like to wear nice gold clothes, and I like to do all these things, but for me, I would rather spend a lot of money taking a big risk to try and grow my business, like hiring someone that I shouldn't, or not that I shouldn't, I just probably shouldn't be able to afford. I'm spending a large percentage of my income trying to hire that person to hopefully level up my business and my skill set even more, or trying to consult with somebody for an astronomical amount of money so I can hopefully avoid a lot of mistakes and go a lot further. I mean, I've literally offered people before the exact amount that I had in my bank account. I've taken a screenshot. I've sent it to them. I said, if you give me a 1-hour phone call, I'll send you all my money. And there was one person, this really, really master at what I was trying to do. I had exactly $20,132 in my bank account. And I remember it because I sent him a screenshot on Twitter, and I said, if you give me a 1-hour phone call, I will give you all of this. Please just let me talk to you. I have a few questions that I really need answered because I know it will help me make more money in the future. He never answered, but I really don't have a problem doing that because I believe in my ability to make more money now. And so tying it back into these YouTube used car salesmen, because that's really what they are. There's so many fucking people who don't have a real business, but they know they can sell some sort of product onto their viewers. So they build a garbage course and they build a terrible product, and they know it's terrible, and then they just jam it down their viewers' throats, and then they clickbait to the highest possible degree, regardless of what's going on, just to get and squeeze out the marketplace to the highest possible degree. And then what they're going to do is they're just going to move on to something else. When I'm not going to say it's not ethical, but that is the grimiest, most scumbag way on this planet to make money. And those are the same people who live these frugal lifestyles because they don't understand how to make money. And my buddy Luke, I'm not putting him in this category. I was just using him as an example. I mean, these grimy salesmen who they know that their time is running out. So they're the ones that are going out and they're nickel and diamond, but then on social media, they're showing people how much money they have. But they say that they're dropping all this money on dinner, but then they ask their friend to leave the tip. And I'm saying that because that happened to me one time. There was this guy who used to say that he was making 300 grand a month from his social media and to funnel it into the back end of his product. And he's a really good communicator, and he is very convincing and persuasive. But then, he went out with another one of my friends, and they went to dinner, and then the dinner was, $100-$200 or whatever. And then the guy was just like, oh, can you just Venmo me for the tip? And that's just something that these real ballers just don't do. And so what do you come to find out? That his business was garbage on the back end, that people would sign up because he knew how to get views on social media, but then they would drop right off. So he would have these initial spikes of months of making a lot of money, but then they'd all go away. And these are the people that are really just a depreciating asset, which is, I probably shouldn't be bothered by it. And I'm not necessarily, but I just find disgust. And that's how that they know that they are manipulating people, and they are okay with it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so selective with the people that I work with. Because if I ever knew that I was helping one of these people make a ton of money because I could really help them get a lot more views, but their business was garbage, then that would make me sick to my stomach, because then I would be part of I think, a pretty large problem that's going on.